Welcome on into Daggerheart characters. My name's Steve. Today, we are going to be going through another class that I built called the Chosen One. I'm always proud of them, but I'm really happy with this one. I've made several characters with it, so look forward to. I'm going to start doing that, creating characters with my classes, and I just kind of stumbled into the idea of I ended up making K2SO from Star Wars, a droid in there in the Star Wars franchise, out of this class. So look forward to that. It's a really fun build. I'll let you know which subclass I used for that. And as always, if you want access to what you're seeing on the screen, I do put this into a Word document that I then have a link to in the description where you could get it if you want to play test it or something. First of all, let me know. That'd be awesome. As well as any kind of feedback is always appreciated on, is something overpowered? Doubtful that it'll be underpowered, especially this one. I tried to keep it not overpowered, so hopefully I succeeded. We'll see. There are, I don't know, it's a really fun class. So let's begin by looking at the description for the Chosen One. The Chosen One is destiny made flesh, a figure set apart by prophecy, fate, or sheer force of belief. Whether a savior, a rebel, or an unlikely hero, they carry the weight of expectation on their shoulders and bend the world around them in the moments that matter most. Their presence inspires allies, unsettles enemies, and shapes events in ways that no one else could. To play the Chosen One is to step into the role of the person that the world has been waiting for. Flawed, fated, and impossible to ignore. Normally we would list the domains, but there is a little bit of a uniqueness going on with the domains depending on which subclass you choose. For your starting evasion, you're going to start with 10 and starting hit points 7. So starting off on the stronger side here, but not way overly strong. And once again, hopefully I didn't overtune this character. It can definitely build a strong character, though. You are the Chosen One, so once again, just let me know on that kind of thing. For your class items, just a unique but mundane item. As always, a mundane item for these class items. I didn't really want to specify it too much here because really, you could take the Chosen One in so many different ways. Now, I have two very specific archetypes as in terms of the labels for the subclasses, but it really depends on who your character is in terms of what that class item might be. So, what's most important to them. The Chosen One's hope feature is going to be fate. Spend 3 hope to reroll either the fear or the hope die on a failed roll. Additionally, the GM loses a fear. And for your class features, you have Destiny's Shield. Yeah, that's definitely like Destiny's Child was my thought when I named it. Gain a +1 bonus to your armor score, and once per long rest, when you mark an armor slot, you may reduce the damage by 2 thresholds. And you also get Eternal Hope. At the start of your session, everyone in your party gains a hope. So if you were to be a Chosen One halfling, which why wouldn't you want to be? That could be a lot of fun. Your party could start off with 2 hope. So I think I actually did create well, you can see the subclasses. One of the characters I created is Jesus. I created Jesus, and so that's I think that's a halfling for that one. So my whole team starts with +2 hope at the start of a session. So those are your 2 subclass options, Jesus or Neo. And you're going to play Jesus for a more mystical, spell-oriented fate, which becomes clear when you look at the domain options here. At each level, levels 1 through 10, you may choose your domain cards from any of these domains. So you are getting a wider variety of options in terms of how you're going to craft this character. You don't have to limit yourselves to just picking 2 of these domains or anything throughout the entirety of your character creation. You can just pick from these class domains: the Arcana, the Grace, and Splendor, of course. So for your spellcast trait, you're going to use Presence, and for your foundation feature, you get Blessings. Place a number of tokens on this card equal to your spellcast trait. When you roll with fear, you may spend 1 token to clear a stress or a hit point. So, a little bit of, revival. You're never afraid. And in fact, when you're facing fear, you kind of turn to In the case of Jesus, it'd be like you turn into your father type of deal here to help strengthen yourself going forward. Resolve could have been blessings of resolve or something like that, or resolving blessings. So for your specialization feature, you get clutch. Because, if you're a chosen one, you're going to be clutch sometimes. So, when you roll both a 1 and a 12 on the hope and fear die, that is considered a critical success. So that basically brings you from a little bit above like a 10% chance, I believe it is, of maybe it's like close to 12 or 11 something, chance of getting a critical success to closer to 15. It's like a 2.6, I believe, rounded up increased chance in critical success. And if I would have done it, I could have done it a few different ways, but this way works out mathematically and is the easiest to just kind of remember and do. So whether it's the fear die that's a 1 or the hope die that's a 1, that doesn't really matter. Just once again, really for ease of making it this easiest to follow. And then we have our mastery features, which are Fearless. When you succeed with fear, you may mark 2 stress to prevent the GM from gaining a fear, and once per long rest, you may also just keep the spotlight. Don't pass it on over when you mark the 2 stress to prevent them from gaining a fear. And you also get Hopeful. When you fail with hope, you may mark 1 stress or hit point to gain 1 hope. And so that is your Jesus subclass. The, obviously spell-oriented. You could take it in so many different ways, really, between these 3 domains. And this one, I'm not afraid of it being too strong. I kept these relatively tame here, but cool features. I wish there was some sort of in-between here to increase the odds by like another 1% or so. But, that's just how the math has to work out. But because of a pretty strong base here, I wanted to make sure not to overtune this, so hopefully I didn't. That's going to bring us on to our second subclass, Neo, of course, taking inspiration from the Matrix here for these features. You play Neo to play as a diverse martial artist who can alter reality with superhero-like abilities. Your domain choices are, once again, you can choose at every level between the 3 domains of Blade, Bone, and Valor. So I think that's a lot of fun. And for your foundation features, we're going to start off with Download Skill. Gain a +1 bonus to 2 trait scores. This feels quite, I don't know, is this too strong? When you're creating a character, it's really a lot of fun to have this. And I don't know if I overvalue trait scores a little bit or anything like that, but that's one where I have a little bit concerned, maybe even just the combining that with this. Should it be just 1 trait score in your opinion if we're going to keep relocate, which I probably want to. So any feedback on that would be appreciated, but our second feature is going to be relocate. At the beginning of your session, place a number of tokens equal to your proficiency on this card. I originally had a proficiency +1, but then when I created the character, this just felt like if you boost up your proficiency and you can do this 7 times, it just felt like a little bit more than I wanted. But of course, you have to invest in your proficiency for that. So at any time, you may spend a token to move anywhere up to very far range from your current location without having to make an agility roll. You may even take temporarily flight. If you take temporary flight, the GM may spend 1 fear to end your flight, as any temporarily condition can be done for those. You harmlessly fall back to the ground below you when that happens. While temporarily in flight, you must spend a token to make an action roll. If you have no tokens, the next time that you move to make a roll, you harmlessly fall back to the ground. So at level 1, when you just have 1 proficiency, you could take flight. You could get to a place maybe that's very far away and vertically 3D, but you're not going to be able to, as soon as you want to move from that spot, if you're, being hovering, or as soon as you want to do anything, you're going to have to go back down. So I think that's fair enough, too, that you don't really get flight very much so at level 1. makes sense. Whereas otherwise, when I had proficiency +1, you could have. That's going to bring us on to the specialization feature. We have rewrite code, because this is taken from the Matrix. Take an additional domain card of 3rd level or lower, and your loadout maximum is now 6 instead of 5. So, quite powerful, pretty cool, and very, I think, in flavor with Matrixy. And I don't think it's overpowered. Let me know if you think otherwise, as always, but I kept this to 3rd level or lower. Could have been like 5th level or lower, but I did want to make sure, because of this loadout feature, that I wasn't over-tuning this too much. But, one of Neo's abilities is his ability to, rewrite code, so it made sense. And then, of course, you can't be referencing the Matrix here. Can't be referencing Neo and not be talking about bullet time. So for your mastery feature, you get bullet time. Once per session, make an attack roll against all adversaries within far range. The GM will tell you which adversaries you succeed against. You may spend 1 stress per target that you succeeded against that you wish to temporarily restrain. So you may restrain as many of those targets as you wish, up to the amount of stress that you wish to spend. Also, you may make up to 3 different damage rolls on 3 separate targets that you have not restrained. So you can't restrain a target and make a damage roll against them. A little bit of a limiter to help to keep this in check. And you can move to anywhere within far range, gain advantage on an agility roll if one is needed. So basically, at the end of all this, you can just kind of show up anywhere within this far range, and you don't need to take, or if you do need to take an agility roll, you're going to get advantage because you're in bullet time this, so it should be fairly easy for you, depending on the difficulty of the terrain that you're trying to get over. But there you go. That is the Neo subclass, and that was the Jesus other subclass. So there's the chosen one. Look forward to me creating K2SO and Jesus in a video that should follow this one up relatively soonly. Soonly? That's not a word. Thank you very, very much. If you like this stuff, please do subscribe. Please like the video. That definitely helps the algorithm. And for the most part, though, I'm just having some fun creating stuff and putting it out there. So I hope you like it. And once again, your feedback, the sheet that I put up, anytime that I update that, the sheet that there's a link in the description to, anytime that gets updated, the link gets updated. So any of your feedback, if you use this, or if you just know based on playing the game that something's going to be a little bit over-tuned, I can look into it and maybe fix it up. I've definitely gone back and fixed a couple already. So thank you very much again. Peace out. Love ya. Have a good one.